Lermo, Vicario, Sim gives him a 5. I gave him a 6. Yeah, I don't think he could have done much with the goals that we conceded. Everything else was pretty much routine, although him on the ball was driving me a bit crazy yesterday.
Yeah. Sorry, you did. Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to think. There was one moment he came flying out, didn't he? And he passed it straight to Buendia, left it with an open goal. And
Brian was having a heart attack next to me when that was happening.
That got a bit lucky. In terms of the goals, yeah, I don't really see.
Yeah, that was nearly a Fulham goal all over again.
Yeah, literally the same thing. He did make a couple of saves, but nothing too noteworthy.
It was all routine.
All routine. So, yeah, I couldn't really praise him too much, to be honest, or criticise him too much.
The thing is, I had a big problem rating these players because most of them were just complete dog shit in the first half, and then the second half, a lot of them had top performances. So it's hard to kind of put both of them together and give them a rating. It's almost like you need a rating for the first half and the second half in this game. But look, let's move on to Pedro Porro. Sim gives him a 5. I gave him a 6.
Fans agree with me, 5.
Yeah. Which, again, like Pedro Porro was one of those examples where I thought first half he was poor, could have done more, I think, for the Buendia goal. I thought he was just weak in the challenge. And, yeah, defensively, I thought he was poor first half. Passing, I thought, was erratic, and he kept losing the ball. But second half, I thought he really came alive. I thought defensively he was so solid, knocked one off the line as well in the last stage of the game. And I thought he put in a really strong showing in that second half.
Yeah, I definitely think he let himself down with that first goal, though. Just got caught the wrong side of Marlon. And also left he comes inside to track Marlon. He then leaves a massive space in his slot, and he doesn't stop Marlon from getting the pass off. So I think that was a big cause for us getting the goal, them getting that goal. Really poor from him. I thought he was struggling in that first half badly defensively, but as you say, I think he made up for it. For some of the good stuff he did in the second half with the shot off the line and getting forward. Also, I don't think it's a coincidence that once he went off as well, Spence came on, who I thought had a terrible cameo.
Yeah.
And is it a surprise as well once he went off? Like, our chance creation went massively down. A lot of people get on his back for giving the ball away and, with his long passes that go nowhere. And I understand that, but I also think it's a tactic from Frank. I also think I'm obviously not to give it away, but it's an instruction to go long a lot from him, give it to Porro and him go long.
But some of his short passes as well. It's just like sometimes he can't make a 5-yard pass, and this is our best passer we got.
Yeah,
it's just like so frustrating, man.
I would say it's because of our in-possession game.
Yeah, look, I don't doubt that, and I do think it all stems from the manager, but it just makes it such a frustrating watch, and we got to talk about it when we're talking about the player.
Yeah, no, I get that. But I'm just saying, a lot of people get frustrated with Porro, but people got to understand him when he goes long constantly and we fight for those second balls. That is literally like the game plan. And so I think it doesn't look half as good when Porro's not there because he's the best passer, so he's the best one to do it. If you've got Spence who figure out the pitch, you're going to look even worse because he's not as good as doing it. So, yeah, that's what I would say about Porro. But, yeah, I didn't think he had a great game yesterday.
Kevin Danso, 6s all round for us. I thought Kevin in the first half came under quite a bit of pressure, to be honest, and Villa were running rings around us, and he was a part of that. And at half-time, I think it changed a lot. A lot of the time, Spurs were pushed up high at the pitch, winning the ball back, and any time the ball came back into that area, I thought Danso was aerially so strong, man, and winning the ball back for us countless amount of times. He is just such a beast in the air, isn't he, man? He's unbelievable when it comes to his aerial ability, but when you're comparing him to Romero, they're like the polar opposites. Like, Romero's not that great in the air. Danso's unbelievable in the air. But when you're talking about on the ball and trying to progress the ball up the pitch, they're the polar opposites as well.
I think Romero's pretty good in the air. Do you don't think he's good in the air?
Nowhere near Danso, I don't think.
I mean, he was so dominant against Bournemouth. He won 12 out of 13 errors. Yeah, it was crazy. But I think he's pretty good in the air, Romero.
I don't think he's as good as he should be.
Interesting. Danso's obviously a beast. I thought yesterday... Second half, when we were stepping on Villa and we were pressing them high, it suited him a lot more. I actually thought when we were sitting deep, he was uncomfortable, and I think he got lost in a few situations, and he did kind of struggle. On the ball again, very mixed from Danso, very mixed. I thought when he kind of got the ball and kept it simple, it was good, but as soon as he's trying to be a bit more expansive, it kind of goes wrong for him. So, yeah, I thought 5.9. There you go. I got a 6. I think that's about right.
Mickey van der Ven, Sim gives him a 7. I gave him a 6. Again, first half, I thought he should have done more to maybe stop the Villa onslaught. Couldn't, but yeah, can't do it on his own, I guess. And second half again came alive. He was part of the reason how we just kept sustaining that pressure in the opening 20-25 minutes of that half. A couple of unbelievable challenges in there from Mickey, which you tend to expect from him now. But it's like, kind of, how can you expect this unbelievable challenges consistently game after game? But he keeps providing and keeps producing. And yeah, I thought he ends it with a decent performance at the end.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. There was that one moment, I think it was in the first half, where he comes, like, that we're missing a few challenges, and he comes flying in, wins it, and all of a sudden becomes like a right winger, and like because like running down that side and putting Tottenham on the attack. I thought when we were pushing up and when we were forcing the issue, and he was a real big part of how we were just able to pen Villa in a bit and just keep momentum going, because he was just winning the ball. Him and Danso together in that moment were quite good. And yeah, I think his box defending for the second goal wasn't particularly impressive. Should be more proactive there. But yeah, I thought he had a pretty good game overall.
The fans give him 6.5.
So right in the middle of us
bang
two.
in the middle. And let's see what we've given to Ben Davies. Sim gives him a 6. I gave him a 7. Well, I thought it was decent, Ben Davies. Obviously, the fans here have given him 6.2, so closer to you than to me. But yeah, I thought he did his job really well, really aggressive in the challenge, and defensively, I thought he did a really good job out on that left-hand side, to be honest.
He was one of the weird ones where I actually felt he was better in the first half than the second half.
Yeah.
He was like one of the few. I thought in the first half he was brilliant. His anticipation...
Probably our best player at half-time.
Yeah, his anticipation for some of the challenges he was making, like getting there first when we were in the moments we were pressing, was really really impressive. And look, he didn't get forward too much, obviously. There was one moment, actually, there was a good, I think, Gray plays a pass in behind, and Davis actually does run in behind, but his cutback wasn't, just didn't quite make it. But I thought that he was actually playing quite well first half, and then second half had a bit of a drop off, wasn't as involved, and maybe just couldn't keep up what he was doing in the second half. But yeah, I think he's been all right since he's come back into the team, to be fair.
Yeah, he has, and both at left back as well, where everyone says he's done at. So maybe a bit of life left in the tank for Ben Davies. But yeah, going into the last 6 months of his contract, it's interesting to see, are Spurs going to try and sell him in this January transfer window, or are we just going to say, go on your way for a free at the end of the year?
I mean, at the moment, I think we just need all the help we can get, so we'll probably keep him around. But then again, we didn't with Brennan.
Yeah. João Palhinha up next. 7s all round for João, and this was a key example of first half and second half. Like, this was probably the most obvious one, because in the first half I thought he was pretty much just chasing shadows for that whole of that first half. The Villa midfield were running rings around him, to be honest. And second half he came out with a completely different attitude and outlook of the game, and he was fantastic. He really was absolutely unplayable. The amount of challenges he was putting in, the aggressive nature in his game, he was absolutely fantastic. Had an effort on goal as well. Villa players in the midfield just couldn't handle him. He just had that something extra about him in that second half, and I thought he was just fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. I thought Palhinha was brilliant in that second half, probably our best player. Just, as I said, like Roy of the Rover stuff, just dragging the team up by the scruff of their neck, and the challenges he was putting in. He was dominating in that middle where he just wasn't in the first half. It kind of felt like he was very standoffish in that first half, wasn't getting near to anyone. And that second half, he just taking no prisoners, challenge after challenge, sticking his boot in, like being fearless. And I thought he was a big part of how we were taking the game to Aston Villa. I thought it was also unfortunate to be booked, so I didn't think that was a booking for his challenge where he won the ball in that second half. But first half, look at that first goal. He's just, chasing shadows all over the place and wasn't getting near his man. And I thought they were finding it so easy to play against him. But that did all change in the second half. So I also thought, to be fair, as much as he didn't deserve to be booked for that challenge in the second half, I think the challenge at injured Kamara did deserve a yellow, and he got lucky with that. So maybe it evened itself out.
I just felt like there were so many kind of small challenges that he was getting penalised for in the game, particularly in the second half. And then Villa would do probably the same, or if not worse, challenges, and the ref would just let it ride. It was just I thought João Palhinha was getting held to a different standard to anyone else on the pitch from the ref yesterday.
A few people have said that.
Yeah.
A few people have said that. But yeah, we want to see more of those performances like in the second half for sure.
Archie Gray up next. 5s all round for Archie. By the way, 7.3 for João Palhinha for the fans. Yeah, I think Archie was poor in the first half, similar to Zhao. Like you said, very standoffish and getting run rings around. Second half, I thought he was able to progress the ball a little bit better, but his performance, I don't think, improved as much as like the other players on the pitch. Like he did a little bit better, but not too much better.
Yeah, he had a bit of a new role yesterday. He was he kind of played in the pure number 6, where on the ball he was going in between both centre backs and the centre backs were splitting, and he was kind of playing like a quarterback. You would play there, and he would just basically be playing switches to the wingers or whatever. And I thought he looked okay, but I don't think he was completely comfortable in that role, to be honest. I actually think he had a pretty good ball game, and when it came off the ball, wasn't great. I thought he really did struggle, to be honest, to really impact the game, and I thought Villa were really playing through him. Second half, didn't get too much better. He wasn't one of the ones who I thought stood out in the second half, to be honest. I think he was playing in a similar way. But yeah, first half, it kind of hurt the dynamic in a sense, because if you're playing Gray as the deeper one, you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because you're playing Gray as the deeper one, it leaves Paulinho in the middle, in the more congested area where he's not comfortable. But if you play Paulinho as the deeper one and ask Gray to do that, then Paulinho doesn't have the passing range maybe that Gray does. But I think maybe Paulinho with a bit more space maybe would be better than Gray. So I don't know. What do you think? Because he played Gray as the deeper one, splitting the centre-backs. Would it have been better if it was Paulinho there, or was it Gray more suited to that?
Well, out of the two, I don't think either of them. We need that for evident to see that we need a proper ball player as our number 6. That just everything that you just said there is just evidence of it. How we need that proper ball player as a look. Maybe the argument is the more Archie does it, the more used to it he's going to get, and it'll be good for his development. But right now, I don't think he's up to it completely. But I do think he has it in his locker to develop into. But right now, it's he's still early stage of his development. Yeah,
I think he did some good things, but overall he struggled.
Yeah. Next up, we're going to go to Richarlison. 5s all round for Richie. I think he went off at half an hour.
Half an hour, yeah.
So I mean, in that first half an hour, I don't even know if he touched the ball. I didn't even notice anything that he did. So yeah, it's hard to comment anything about his performance.
Yeah, 4.1 they've given him. The fans, they weren't too happy with him. So yeah, he wasn't really. I wonder whether it was injury waiting to happen, if he was struggling with something before he went off injured, but obviously he was just chasing down a loose ball, wasn't he, when he pulled up, which is just so heartbreaking for him, especially with the World Cup coming up and he's fighting for that place, and he's been scoring goals this season. For injuries to kind of
we don't know how bad it is. Like, it could be just a 2-week hamstring,
maybe, but when it's off the ball like that, it's not great. When it's no contact. Let's hope it's not bad. Let's hope it's not a tear. Let's hope it's just a pull. But hopefully he's okay. Hopefully it's not too serious. We'll wait for a scan. But if it is serious, it's heartbreaking for him.
Yeah.
Because of trying to overcome those injury issues, trying to stay fit, and he's done a great job of it this season. But looks like maybe it's reared its ugly head again. But yeah, I don't remember too much of him before the injury, to be honest.
Yeah. Wilson Odebear, Sim gives him a 6. I gave him a 7. Was struggling to get into the game in the first half. Second half, straight from the off, he really came alive, didn't he? And I thought Villa found it really hard to handle him down that right-hand side. I thought for the opening 15-20 minutes of that second half, he was electric. He really was. And I felt like it was an unbelievable finish to bring us back into the game at 2-1. But then after that, I felt like him really breathing with confidence for those next 10 minutes, but then he kind of tired out the game after that, didn't he?
Yeah, I thought first half anonymous, unfortunately. Also wasn't really helping Porro too much. I just felt he wasn't in the game. He wasn't hurting their left back, Mathys, on the day. Mathys is a winger by trade. It should be a situation where he can feel confident taking him on, but he didn't. But yeah, second half he grew, especially after that goal. Excellent finish across the face goal. Want to see him in those positions more often, because if he can finish like that, he can start getting more goal contributions. That was a fine goal. Was that his first goal of the season? He scored against Copenhagen.
Yeah.
Scored against Copenhagen. So second goal of the season. So that was really good. But yeah, I think he was riding that wave of momentum, wasn't he, after the goal? And it looked like, wow, he's flying. He was beating people. He was going past people like they weren't even there. And then once Villa got a foothold back in the game, he turned quiet again and he got taken off. So some bright sparks, good goal, but ultimately just need a bit more from him, especially right now.
Yeah, so the fans give him 6.6, so close to in the middle between me and you. Xavi Simons, 7s all round for Xavi. Second half, he was unplayable at times. He really was the hub of the team, creating, taking it past men, being creative. I loved what I saw from him in the second half. First half, yeah, look, it was a struggle for him to get into the game, but we still saw a few kind of bits and pieces from him when, you know, if anything was going to come for Spurs, it was all going to come through him. And look, Spurs' attacking momentum, it died a little bit before that, but it completely died when we moved him over to the wing. So you had to keep him in the middle where he was causing so many problems. And yeah, look, I think slowly now, I know he had that 3-game ban, but slowly, I feel like he's starting to grow into it a little bit and grow into the shirt, and we're starting to find, he's starting to find a role in in the team. So we need to keep persisting with him in the number 10. Just keep playing him through thick and thin, bad performances, good performances. He's the only one, I think, in that team, in that midfield, that has an X factor about him in terms of being able to consistently create chances. So I was delighted what I saw from him in that second half.
Yeah, and I think he just showed, even just glimpses, what he's capable of. I thought that second half he was running the game. He was absolutely phenomenal, and they really couldn't contain him. Even in the first half, you know, he had that run straight down the heart of that Villa midfield, which he beat 3-4 players, and then unfortunately Muani had just strayed offside. But I thought that was a brilliant piece of play from him. He actually did the same thing in the second half and drew a foul. He had a couple of nice shots, which forced a couple of good saves from Bizot. He was looking really creative. I thought he was either winning a free kick, or he was creating a chance, or he was getting a shot off. I thought him in the little tight spaces was fantastic. And I thought we were playing him in the centre, like playing it into him very quickly, and very directly in the centre, where he had little pockets of space, little things that he could do. And I just felt he was doing so well. He was running the game. He was completely asking questions of Villa, and then we just take him out that area and we put him out wide. And all of a sudden, he's got he's out the game. He's not in his favoured areas, and that was really peculiar to me. I don't understand why Frank took him out of the central area and put him out wide. That didn't make sense to me. But I just think we should be getting more out of him. He's capable of so much more, and I think yesterday was so clear of that. Like, he's got so much quality in his game and in his boots. He's got to be doing a lot more. Yeah, and I think a lot of it's to do with how we don't find him enough in these dangerous areas.
Yeah, this just shows, man. Just play through the centre a bit more, get him more involved, and we'll reap benefits of it. I'm so certain of that. But fans giving him a 7.5, so
yeah, we underestimated him.
Half a point over than what we've given him. But next up is Mathys Tel. 6 is all round for Mathys. Yeah, look, I thought, yeah, in the first half he was fairly quiet, but second half, you know, he was asking questions down that left-hand side. I love him on corners. I think he's fantastic in terms of his delivery. I don't think he was as strong as he was in the game against Bournemouth, but he still provides an outlet for us on that left-hand side, and more than probably anyone else has so far this season. So I would love to see us just keep persisting with Mathys Tel, because I think he's got quality about him.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's another positive performance, to be honest. Just gone up to a 6.8. It was a 6.7, so people still voting for him. Yeah, I thought he had a really solid showing, to be honest. I thought, especially in the second half. I know he gave the ball away in the first half, so he gets marked down for that, for the first goal. But I think the second half, I thought he was hard to handle for Matt Cash. Matt Cash was struggling to deal with him, to be honest. And he found some good passes into Xavi. I thought the link-up play between him and Xavi and Muani was all of a sudden really good. And I thought they really struggled to deal with that. And then unfortunately he got taken off. Maybe he was tiring or whatever, but he got taken off late in the game. And I didn't understand that decision because it kind of neutered us up front. But I thought it was another positive display. And I agree, corners-wise, every delivery seems on the money. It seems like we always get first contact when he's getting that delivery. And so that's really good. He does these like drilled deliveries from the outswinger as well, which are really good. And that's we created a couple of chances we didn't make the most of yesterday. So, yeah, positive from Tel again.
Yeah. Fans give him a 6.8. So, yeah, I think he's really starting to make a name for himself with the fan base, and the fan base is starting to realise, you know what, this guy is probably our strongest left winger now. Next up is Randal Kolo Muani. Bit of a difference of opinion here. Sim's given him a 5. I've given him a 7. So obviously came on after half an hour for Richarlison. Didn't do much in the first half, but I thought he was very central to the good work that we were doing in the opening 25 minutes or 20 minutes in the second half. Grabs the assist with some really good work, and I thought he was using his body really well to win the ball back quite consistently for us and sustain the pressure. Had a goal ruled out for offside with a nice finish in the first half, and I just thought generally he was causing a nuisance out of himself for the second half and was providing us with a decent focal point up front.
Yeah, he did have a good assist, to be fair. Did really well barging Bogart off the ball and then played it to Odebert for the goal, and that was a good assist. But I think, unfortunately, the reason I'm giving him a 5 is the two big moments. I think he's a bit culpable in terms of the offside. So he strays offside when he should be keeping himself onside. He can look right down the line where Xavi's going to play the ball. He knows he's going to play it to him with a little pass. He's right there. He can stay onside, and he just strayed off. And the second half, where he played that ball through to Xavi, if he played it just a tad quicker, Xavi's onside, and we get an equaliser. And he just delayed it a tad, and unfortunately,
it's fair.
Xavi strayed off, and bam, it was offside. He did do some good stuff. It wasn't like terrible.
A lot better than Bournemouth, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, much better. So much more involved, and did get a good assist. But yeah, I gave him a 5 in the end.
It's mad as well, because I thought it was a lot better than what he showed at Bournemouth, and the rating's only gone up 1 from 4 to 5. Probably a 6, I think, is fair for him.
I felt of the front players, he was the weakest, probably, to be honest.
Yeah, fair.
Fans say 5.2.
Yeah, they're more with you than with me, that's for sure. A couple of points just before we move on to the manager. Great to see Big Dom back on the pitch. Got himself involved straight away, but unfortunately, definitely looked rusty. So good to see him. Fans giving him a 5. Yeah, a bit harsh to give him a rating, I thought.
Yeah, there was that one moment, he had a big moment, didn't he? I think ball to the back post. I think Muani wins the header, and then he had kind of had a moment where he could have maybe swiveled and shot, and he just didn't quite get it right, and then got crowded out, and unfortunately, the chance was gone. There was a couple of moments where he was getting involved, but as you say, he looked rusty, needs a bit of that time. But there was a couple of reminders of how strong he is, like muscling players off the ball and stuff like that. So hopefully he's going to be a big help now he's back fit.
Yeah, in that moment you're talking about, it's like he gets the ball, and I just felt like he just takes too long on the ball in the box, and it gave the opportunity to like 4 Villa players to crowd round him, and then the move's kind of dead.
To be honest, he does that at the best of times. Even when he's fully fit, he takes too long.
True. And Jed Spence, he comes on for Pedro Porro, and I thought he put in a bit of a shocker yesterday. Jed Spence, like every time he got the ball, I don't know what he was doing. I was like, "What are you doing, Jed?" Yeah,
he was kind of just running into trouble every time, and we needed energy from him at that point, get forward. But it's like he didn't want to put the ball in the box. He just was so concentrated on taking someone on or beating his man and getting to the byline where he was losing it. He wasn't doing. He was just giving the ball away carelessly, and he had opportunities to whip it in. He didn't take them.
Yeah. And finally, we talk about Thomas Frank. 4s all round for Thomas. Look, I thought with the starting lineup that he chose, the only real question mark is Spence for Ben Davies, but don't really question it too much. He was pretty hamstrung in terms of the lineup that he had to choose yesterday. But it was just the intent and the messaging and the way we played in that first half was disgraceful. And for the most part of it, we were lucky probably to be only 2-0 down at half-time. And that's the way we get set up. And it's nowhere near good enough, particularly in a cup game when it's do or die, done on the night. You're either in or you're out. And we left ourselves too much to do at half-time. And that was due to the way that we were set up. Second half, obviously, was a lot better. But I find it so hard to give too much praise for the second half performance because of what happened in the first, and the game pretty much all but done. And I felt as well like the changes that he made just pretty much hurt us more than helped us. So game management was poor. He gets a little bit of credit for those 25 minutes where we were flying, but for the most part, I thought it was awful from him.
Yeah, just how we come out in a cup game when we know how important it is in that manner. And the fact of the matter is, though, that level of performance we saw in that first half has been more the rule rather than the exception. So to say, him come out and say, yeah, second half, that's how we want to play and all this kind of stuff, well, why don't we see it more often? Why is it constantly like a lack of energy and always being pragmatic and always being behind the ball and always looking about what the opposition do rather than asking questions themselves. And as soon as we're 2-0 down, it's like, okay, let's throw caution to the wind. Let's go and attack Villa. But it's a good. Villa are a good team, and when clawing back a 2-0 deficit is going to be very, very difficult. And in the end, it was too little, too late when it came to that. So I think. I don't even know if it was more him or was it more the players leading that as well. Van der Ven saying that there was a talk amongst the players at half time to, put more energy in whatever, and that's what got it through. Look, whatever way they got there, they did. But Frank, for me, look, he's just proven every week that I don't think he's the right manager for Tottenham Hotspur. As you said, the changes were awful. Again, a bit of sympathy because we have limited options, but Scala on the wing, don't really understand that. Why when you got Muani there and Scala, why would you not put Muani on the wing and Scala up front? That didn't make sense to me. Muani can be a winger. When has Scala ever played out wide? Taking Xavi out the 10 and putting him on the left, taking Tel off. Just a few baffling decisions. And also, another one, a bit, I don't know, obviously only Frank can know this, but if Solanke comes on, he came on with 10 minutes to go. If we went to extra time, could he have made it till the end of extra time? That was another question. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's also something to think about. But he's lost the support of the fans. They're booing, they're chanting, sacked in the morning. It's not a great situation for him. And he seems a bit like a defeated man at the moment. He doesn't have that same enthusiasm, that passion in press conferences, and that his body language. He seems a bit lost at the moment, how he talks.
The most frustrating thing for me is when you see those 25 minutes, when you see the Brentford game, when you see parts of the Sunderland game, like when you see the Man City game, we can do it. We can play good football if we really want to. We can put teams under pressure. We can press high from the front. Like all of our good performances or good moments in games have all stemmed from Spurs being super aggressive, pressing high up the front, winning the ball back in key areas. We don't do it enough. And that's what frustrates me so much. It's just like we have to go through so much shit just to see a little bit of good play. And then when we see it, we're all just like, wow, we're pressing. We've actually won you know what I mean? And it's just like, we've got it in us. He's got it in him. Why don't we see it more than... Why just don't we see it on a regularity?
I don't know.
Then no one would have a problem. It's just like, we know he's got it in him to play this kind of football. We've seen it this season in short fits and spurts. But nobody has any trust that we're going to see it. It's just like such a weird situation.
Yeah. And it's just not been enough. We've seen it as well, unfortunately. Recently we've seen it a bit more, to be fair. But in terms of the season as a whole, it's been very little of this kind of football and what he's tried. And I think maybe he's come in with the remit of, look how open we were last season. We've got to tighten it up. You make sure you improve that defence. And I think it's completely neglected the other side of the game.
All right, so that is the player ratings. There has just been an